Hi everyone, so this is how you're going to make your bricks. So the first thing you need to do is make sure, like me, you've got a pinny on so you're protecting your clothes. Then this is going to be the setup that you've got. So you need a cloth for your background to protect the table. You need a rolling pin. You need two guides, these black guides. Then you need this that I've had made for us, which is going to be how we know the size of the brick and how we know how hard to press on it. So that'll be the immediate kit that you need, along with just a tool. Doesn't matter, as long as we think that we can cut with it. So it could be round or it could be a little bit more pointed, but these are what we're going to cut the actual clay with. So as soon as you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, the only thing left is the clay. So you can see the piece I've got there. To be honest, that might be a little bit too big, but that's about the size that we need. It's about the size of your hand, like you're making a sandwich, and then probably about an inch and a half. That's the size. So you're going to put that on top of your cloth. Then this is the most important thing we need to remember. Your guides are going to make sure that the thickness of that clay is always the same, because if you think of a brick, they all fit together and they're all the same thickness, aren't they? That's how they fit and they tessellate. So we need to make sure that these guides are not too far apart, because this rolling pin has to sit on top of the guides at all times. When we're rolling, can you see that underneath that pin is always the same thickness? So these have to be underneath the rolling pin. If accidentally one's too far and the rolling pin touches the table, we're going to end up with, instead of a nice thick even piece of clay, we're going to end up with a piece that's a little bit triangular. We don't want that. So make sure as you're setting up that you've got these guides at a good kind of differentiation. Oh, that's a good word. Think of it as a train track. So these are going to be the same amount apart, not bent like that, but quite straight like a train track, so that as you're rolling, we've got a nice even surface for your rolling pin to go along, and then we're ready to go. So I'm going to put the pin in the middle of the clay and I'm going to press down, and then I'm going to start to pull towards me. Ooh, and then I can lift up, press down again, because no matter how hard I press, these will always stop me from going too close to the surface. You can see the more that I press now, and at the beginning it is a little bit tricky because it's a big piece of clay, but if you keep picking up your pin, pushing and rolling away or pulling towards you, because of these genius guides, we can't make that clay too thin. So you can see already, just by rolling that top section, look how smooth that is. So I'm going to keep coming down to this side where I've still got a lump. I'm going to carry on doing it there. Plop it down and roll. Right. Now what I'm doing at the moment is making a big long piece, and what I really want, if you think of what a brick is, it's a bit wider than that, isn't it? So I'm going to pick up my pin. I'm going to pick up my entire piece of background cloth and I'm going to turn it. And then I'm just going to move my guides and put them the other way around. Now let's check. See, that doesn't fit, does it? And that's fine. I can just get my tool, cut a bit off, pop that there, cut a bit off that side, pop that there, and now my guides, there we go, fit back inside the length of that rolling pin. I'm going to do the same again now. So I'm going to press down and roll, press down and roll, just like I'm making some pastry for a cake, which of course I have to think about because I just want to eat all the time. So I'm just going to keep rolling backwards and forwards. I might even speed this a little bit up, but you can see, doesn't matter how hard I press, it's always going to be the right thickness. So I'm going to give it a big final roll, like that. A good tip for this is, if you're not already doing it, try standing up, because you can get more power behind the weight on that rolling pin and it goes a little bit quicker then. So you can see that's probably only took about, what, a minute, 2 minutes. Now I've got this really good even thickness. I'm just going to give a little roll like this, and then I know if it's right if I can push it with my finger and it keeps going. So it almost did it then, look. Almost went all the way across. So one more. And keep going, keep going, keep going. If you can see little tiny ripples, then you know it's still a little bit too thick somewhere and it's trying to push that clay out the way. So I'm going to roll, roll, roll. That looks better now, look at that. Perfect. Right. So that's the first bit and the bit that makes you slightly out of breath. Done. Now I'm going to bring over this special kind of, it's a set really that I've had made for us. So this is going to show us how we cut really, really perfectly to make our brick the right size, the right thickness, and so it looks like a brick. So this part here we don't need yet. We're going to use this part first because it shows us the size of the brick, and inside there's this little kind of extra piece of wood that's like a little recess, and that will make this the centre of the brick that goes in a little bit more than the rest. So first thing I need to do is try and test the size. Is it wide enough? Yes, it is. So I'm going to basically leave it there, and just like it says, don't press. You're just placing it on so that you can see the size is about right, and then we know that's perfect. So I don't press down, I just place it on really carefully, check it's within the size, oops, of those guides. Now you guys don't do this, but just to show you, if I take those away, it's right inside the sides. It's not hanging over the edge like that. It's got to make sure that that is right in the middle. So there's a little bit of clay all the way around it, and then we know it's perfect. Right, put those back. Right, the next bit is this one. So the difference here is this says don't press. This one says press me on both sides. So I'm going to make sure that I can rest these two sections at the end on my guides, because you see it's black and black. I'm going to put that on, and now where it says press me, I'm going to lean on and press. I can wiggle like that, that's fine. And then I take that away. Now really carefully with my tool, what I can do is I can stick that tool in and cut along the edge really carefully in one go like that. And then again, I'm going to pull that off if there's anything, leave it there, because we like to be neat, don't forget. So I'm going to make a little ball of any bits of clay that come off so I know where they are. Then I'm going to, again with my tool, I'm going to stick it around the edge and do the short side like that. And I can hold on to that bit in the middle, makes it a bit easier. And then this side, again, I'm going to run it right along the edge like a ruler. And then this last side here, because what I want to do is make this as neat as possible. So now I should have cut all the way through, and you can hear, I'll do it again so you can hear it. You can hear that I'm touching the bottom of that cloth, and it makes a great noise like that, like a scratchy noise. So I know I'm right through that clay. There we go. So now, like magic, I can take away the bits I don't need. This is where I start adding to the pile. I can take away this bit. In fact, I don't need those either. I can take away this end bit. I can take away this bit and make myself a nice neat pile that I can probably use for the next one that I roll out. I'm going to keep that there. And now with this one, all I need to do very carefully is put my hand underneath. I can peel that one away, and now all I need is to pull out, woo, like that, and you can see I've got that really beautiful brick shape, and it's got that recess right in the middle there. So where that's sticking out, it's now stuck into that clay. Now that is a great size, it's a great shape, and it's ready to go with the very last thing that we do, which is we tag with whatever word we want. So these are going to be symbolic, and they're going to represent what St Helens is built on, don't forget. So it might be that it's built on a person, that it's built on an emulsion, that it's built on some kind of industry. So I've got my Lily Parr imprint ready to go here. So all I'm going to do, whichever one it is you're going to have, it could say any word that you've chosen. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up, and again I'm not going to press, I'm just going to place it on so I know it's right in the middle. And there's a bit of a gap either side, nice and even. And then very lightly, very, very lightly, I'm going to press very lightly and then pull and release. And there you can see it's ready and done. So the last thing is move everything into a pile. Put your hand underneath where your cloth is, and then you can very carefully lift up your finished brick. Look at that, beautiful. And place it to dry on the boards, because it's going to take probably a week or so to dry. So we need to keep these nice and flat and in somewhere warm if possible, so they dry quickly, and then we can put them in the kiln.